Folks, there's actually a debate going on ESPN and throughout the sports world over who can use the N-word, when and how, and who can't, when and how. A little history lesson for you. If any race of people should not have guilt about slavery, it's Caucasians. The white race has probably had fewer slaves and for a briefer period of time than any other in the history of the world. No other race has ever fought a war for the purpose of ending slavery, which we did. Nearly 600,000 people killed in the Civil War. It's preposterous that Caucasians are blamed for slavery when they've done more to end it than any other race. It's preposterous that Caucasians are blamed for slavery when they've done more to end it than any other race. They have discovered that Obama does have slave blood. Slave blood.
I had never experienced the kind of euphoria that I got from a pain pill.
The Republicans are just totally bamboozled right now. They think they've got to rebrand, and it's all predicted. They got to reach out to minorities. The Republican Party lost because it's not conservative. Why does putting Condoleezza Rice front and center at the convention not work? Why does putting Marco Rubio front and center at the convention not work? Why does putting Suzanne Martinez, the governor of New Mexico, front and center convention not work? So, nigga with an A on the end. Well, I think I can now. Isn't that the point? Because it's not racist. That's the point. I could be talking about a male. I could be a Chinese male, a guy at the laundromat. I could be talking about a man. That's what she said it means. Because it's not racist. Because it's not racist. Because it's not racist.
How many Native Americans, how many Indians were killed by the arrival of the white man through disease and war? And how many people have died since the white man arrived here due to lung cancer, thanks to the Indian invented custom of smoking tobacco? Who are the real killers here? Where are our reparations? Where are our reparations?
Go that's right out of Adolf Hitler's playbook. Now, what are the similarities between the Democrat Party of today and the Nazi Party in Germany? Well, the Nazis were against big business. They hated big business. And, of course, we all know that they were opposed to Jewish capitalism. They were insanely, irrationally against pollution. They were for 2 years mandatory voluntary service to Germany. They had a whole bunch of make-work projects to keep people working, one of which was the Autobahn. They were against cruelty and vivisection of animals, but in the radical sense of devaluing human life. They banned smoking. They were totally against that. They were for abortion and euthanasia of the undesirables, as we all know. And they were for cradle-to-grave nationalized health care.
Well, it's a good point. You know how to stop abortion? Require that each one occur with a gun.
You put your kids on a school bus, you expect safety, but in Obama's America, the white kids now get beat up with the black kids cheering, "Yeah, right on, right on, right on."
There is an attack on masculinity that's been going on in our culture since the advent of the modern era of feminism, the late 60s, early 70s. I mean, the way I've been conditioned by the Democrats and the left in this country, that sounds like a hate crime. That Trayvon Martin starts pummeling Zimmerman because the gal on the phone, Rachel Jeantel, said, "Hey, a guy could be a rapist. You better run." But Trayvon's no coward. He doesn't run away from stuff, so he starts pummeling on Zimmerman. Folks, there's actually a debate going on on ESPN and throughout the sports world over who can use the N-word, when and how, and who can't, when and how. But we can't go after poor old Barack that way, because he's a minority. Romney knows how to do this. He did it to Newt, and he did it to Santorum. He knows full well how he has to do this. But I know what they think they're up against. They got the first black president, independence. It's easy to go after Newt or Romney because they're conservatives and everybody hates conservatives anyway. But we can't go after poor old Barack that way because he's a minority. First president in history, to my knowledge anyway, who actually wants his nation to fail. Obama wants to create an illegal alien Bill of Rights. We're now governed by people who do not like the country. Who is Obama? Why is he doing this? Why? He wouldn't have been voted president if he weren't black.
Let me put it to you this way. The NFL, all too often, looks like a game between the Bloods and the Crips without any weapons. Day mocking the standard. Who dat? Who dat say they mocking the standard? Al Sharpton say they mocking the standard. How many people really think of Obama as black? He's not from the hood. He's not from the movement. When I hear Chinese or Japanese, it sounds like all the same word. It
is these wackos, from Bill Ayers to Jeremiah Wright to other anti-American, Afrocentric, black liberation theologists working with Acorn, and Barack Obama is smack dab in the middle of it. They have been training young black kids to hate this country. And they trained their parents before that to hate this country.
Here's my premise, and you agree with it or not, that if you have money, you're going to get health care. If you don't have money, it's more difficult.
If you have money, you're going to get a house on the beach. If you don't have money, you're going to live in a bungalow somewhere.
Right.
That's
right, but we're talking about health care.
What's the difference?
The difference is we're talking about health care,
no,
not a house and a bungalow.
You're assuming that there's some morally superior aspect to health care.
The difference is we're talking about health care,
no,
not a house and a bungalow.
You're assuming that there's some morally superior aspect to health care. I'm telling you earlier, I'm not a conformist. I hated school because it's what everybody else had to do.
Hey, Rush.
Mr. President, sir.
All is well. Do you see our man Ailes at all?
Oh, yeah.
We're on the radio, are we?
For years, the radio talk show host had taken a tough stand on drug cases, advocating prison time for the crimes. But that's not what happened when he faced his own drug charge.
I am addicted to prescription pain medication.
I had never experienced the kind of euphoria that I got from a pain pill. So the pain pills came along and they masked all these feelings of inadequacy that I had.
Rush is by far the most articulate, defining voice of conservatism in America today, the most articulate voice of Reagan conservatism in the country. Rush is a powerful voice. I would argue that Rush is the leader of the conservative movement in the country. I know him. I'm friends with him. He's a gracious, gracious man. Rush is the leader in radio.
Everybody's making immigration proposals these days. Let me add mine to the mix. Call it the Limbaugh laws. First, you immigrate to our country, you have to speak the native language. You have to be a professional or an investor. No unskilled workers allowed. Also, there'll be no special bilingual programs in the schools with the Limbaugh laws, no special ballots for elections, no government business will be conducted in your language. Foreigners will not have the right to vote or hold political office. If you're in our country, you cannot be a burden to taxpayers. You are not entitled to welfare or food stamps or other government goodies. You can come if you invest here, an amount equal to 40,000 times a daily minimum wage. If not, stay home. But if you want to buy land, it'll be restricted. No waterfront, for instance, and as a foreigner, you have to relinquish individual rights to the property. And another thing, you don't have the right to protest. You're allowed no demonstrations, no foreign flag waving, no political organizing, no bad-mouthing our president or his policies. You're a foreigner. Shut your mouth or get out. And if you come here illegally, you're going to jail.